Bow to all the seekers of truth. As I told you before, that the spirit has the nature of being the truth itself. And this truth is the love of God. So the truth is that God is love. That this power that works in you is love. Love of God. And love of God is pure love. We have lost the sense of purity because of our own venturesomeness. But purity is where the love has no lust, no greed, it's innocent. Like the sap in the tree rises, nourishes the whole tree and goes back. It doesn't get attached to any particular flower or to any particular leaf and says that I like this. It's absolutely detached. It just nourishes and goes back. But carnal love is like the sap rises, goes into a flower and gets lost. Thus, the flower will also die, the tree will also die. And one must understand that when you get after realization, what you have to do is, first of all, to see yourself how much you love others, how much your heart has opened for love, how much you can share. The individualism should drop out. That is collective consciousness. It doesn't mean that you can feel the chakras of another person, you can feel the chakras that you have the problems, you go on like that. It means that when the spirit starts shining in your attention, first thing that you develop a great compassion for this human race, not for the animals or for the bugs, like the many vegetarians do, but for the human beings. They are the epitome of evolution. So you develop your love for other human beings because they become part and parcel of your being. Now, for example, a finger is sick and the other finger looks after it. It is not doing any obligation, but actually it is soothing, because if this is soothed, all the body comes to a very pleasant state. If this is unpleasant, the whole body is in an unpleasant state. So if you treat one finger, you are treating the whole. In the same way, your compassion starts flowing. But many people have very funny ideas about compassion also. And these must be corrected through experimentation. Some of the ideas of compassion are that you should worry all the time about people who are absolutely at the low ebb of life. As a mother, I would say you have to first mature yourself. As children, you are still growing. That is what humility means. Understand that you have to still become the spirit in the full way. And just now, to jump to tasks of taking up very difficult cases will be very dangerous, and you may get enwrapped into it and your progress may stop. So, as humble students of Sahaja Yoga, first you have to learn how to master it yourself, to become a person who doesn't catch from other people, who doesn't get troubles from other people. In a way, such a person has to be very cautious. Now, I have seen so many people. They come to the programs and they find one person who is possessed, shouting, screaming. And a Sahajogi who is really matured will say, now you get out of this place, you should not be here. Because that person will know that everybody will be troubled by this person. Because this person has got a disease which will be contagious. All mental troubles are contagious, which people do not know, like psychologists. They don't know that they are treating psychopaths, they themselves become psychopaths, because they have no way of protecting themselves. So first of all, you must protect yourself, and you find anybody like that, better not go near that person. At the most, you can say, mother, look after this man, if you have so much of feelings. But sympathy of this kind is very dangerous. I call it sim means to share and pati means pathos. So you share the pathos of a madman and you get into troubles. So as good children, I have to warn you that you should get more attached, more adhered to a person who is more evolved, more enlightened. Instead of that, people start feeling jealous and get ego-oriented and start fighting with a person who is much better. Now Dr. Warren, as you know, has achieved it, a very great height in Sahaja Yoga. But in Australia, I found many people who were really jealous of him for nothing at all, and they wanted to oust him, while they themselves were at the low ebb, and they always wanted to go to people who are at a lower ebb. If you have to go higher, then you have to stick on to people who have gone little higher, and not to go to such people who are at a lower ebb, while they can come up only by looking up. So you cannot bring them by going down to them. So those people who have got realization for the first time, who have just touched it, should not suddenly start thinking, now they have become the great evolved people. They have to grow like trees and acquire the knowledge of their powers. For example, if I enter into one room, that doesn't mean that I have gone to all the rooms. That doesn't mean that I know what's happening in other rooms. So for a person who has got realization, has to be humble about it, that I have to see more and I have to know more, I have to be better. This attitude helps a lot in their growth. And once you have achieved the higher state, which we call as nirvikalpa, means doubtless awareness, after that you yourself can start with great enthusiasm helping people, those who are much lower than you. This is one of the reasons many people who come to Sahaja Yoga go down and take a lot of time to come up. Sahaja Yoga is becoming. It is not that you can make somebody a plastic Sahaja Yogi. You cannot give a certificate, all right, now you are a realized soul. It is you who has to certify yourself. It is you who has to grow up, and it is you who has to master it. It is you who knows whether you have got it or not. So you have to have due respect for yourself and for others. The second problem arises that a person becomes bumptious and starts quarreling with Sahaja Yogis, taking sides of people who are negative. People who are not yet anywhere is also a common sight I have seen with many people. So one should see what changes have come in me, what transformation has taken place in me. One can even write a diary to see how I become more compassionate, how I become more tolerant, how I become much more nourishing, Can I share things with others? Do I enjoy the company of others and the company of Sahajogis? But that doesn't mean that you have to enjoy the company of the people who are not realized and not to enjoy the company of the people who are realized. In India, we have many good saints and very realized souls. And their idea about human beings is very sad, because they think that human beings can never understand that when they have to grow up, they have to grow up with humility. Like a student has to learn from a professor, you have to learn from your Kundalini how to grow, how to become better by watching yourself. They think that unless and until the guru is very strict, actually like the gurus you have in the market, they are not. They are very different type of people. They are terribly hard taskmasters. If you see their methods are so horrifying that I shudder to send anyone to them. Once I had sent one gentleman, he had told me there was one guru called as Gagangad Maharaj, who is a real guru. And he's very well known, but he lives in the jungles and his legs are broken and hands are broken by human beings, and he's carried by a tiger. So he told me, Mother, if anybody troubles you, if you are in difficulties with somebody who is very troublesome, you send him over to me. So I said, all right. There was one gentleman who was very torturesome. He used to ask questions after questions like mad, and very troublesome fellow, very ego-oriented. So just I said, all right, you go and see this guru. Now this guru doesn't see people at all, so he felt very enamored, his ego was pampered. Oh God, the guru has called me, something great. So he went to that guru. After a month he came back, and like there was a big passage, and his legs were on his neck, and they were bringing him as if dangling towards me. I looked at him. I couldn't bear it, and tears came into my eyes. I said, what has happened to him? He said, Mother, I'm sorry for what I did. I said, what happened? He said, you see, when I went there, I was rather bad because I told against you to the guru. I said, what did you tell against the guru? He said, I told that Mother is giving realization to every Tom, Dick and Harry, and she should really first of all verify and then give realization and this and that. And I was talking ill about you. He said, yes, you are wiser than Mother, isn't it? And then in the night, the tiger came and threw me in a khat and fell down 14 feet down. And then this guru lowered some bread after 3 days and asked that you can eat this food but stay there. And I was lying there for 5 days, and every day he used to lower the bread for him, and he was there, all filled with filth and everything. After 5-6 days, he sent 3-4 people to pick him up. And when he came up, he asked them to give him a bath and all that, and a change. And then he told that you put these legs around your neck and go dangling to Mother. She's the one who will put you right, not me. And if you ever say a word against Mother, then I will break your legs in such a way that you will never be able to fix them. Poor fellow, he was shattered. And he came to me, Mother, it was too much. Of course, his legs were fixed, he's all right, he's a good fellow now. But that is what they do. Because according to them, unless and until you take them to task, you cannot humble them down. Like another fellow, I sent him to another fellow who was a doctor and used to really bother me too much. But I just told him, go and see this particular guru. So when the doctor came back, he was thin like sticks. I said, what has happened? Didn't he not give you food to eat? No, Mother, he gave me food all right. He was very affectionate. But what happened? Why did you lose so much weight? What has happened to you? You are looking so very thin. So he was staying about 7 miles, one had to walk up. And every day he had to carry 2 buckets of water to clean one dilapidated temple there. Every day he was supposed to take that and clean it. So I asked this Guru, what do you mean by torturing him like this, taking these 2 buckets to clean the thing? He said, for a donkey you must give donkey's work. I am not a mother to look after these ego-oriented people. It's better that he's trashed now, he'll be better off. So this is what the way they think people can be taught, and they are to learn their lessons of spirituality in this way. Even when you go to them, they'll test you in so many ways that you absolutely get fed up and you leave them, and they are very happy that you have left them forever. They are never anxious that you should be close to them, because it is a thankless job. Otherwise, if you see, if you don't take any money, you are never rewarded. People try to always boss over you. So they think that it's better first to put them right. Let them learn that you have to go hard way to be the spirit. But Sahaja Yoga today is not like that. As a mother, I thought, let these children who are already under pressure and tension receive their realization. Let them have their realization. Let them have their light kindle, and let them see what's wrong with them. Then they start seeing their ego, they start seeing their superego, they start seeing their conditionings, they start seeing their problems, and gradually when they see it, they can cleanse it if you tell them how to cleanse it, and they work it out. So after realization, it is very important how you look after yourself. You may be a king, you may be anything, makes no difference. In the realm of God, the one who is an evolved soul is respected. Not the person who just is a big man or something, a big politician, has no place. Only thing is who is more evolved. Even a simple person on the street can come to Sahaja Yoga and can rise very high. And a person who comes in a big car and a big way and tries to all the time impress upon me the greatness of his worldly treasures does not reach anywhere. So in the eyes of God, it is not important what you are in life, what your ego tells you, what you think of yourself. But it is God's judgment that He sees how far you are in realization. And in realization, you have to judge yourself through your vibratory awareness. When this awareness stations down properly, and you really become absolutely endowed with it, the joy of Sahaja Yoga starts trickling in your existence. People can see you. Those who never laughed started laughing aloud, feeling the joy of life. The whole drama becomes sometimes a comedy, sometimes a tragedy, and you start seeing the whole drama as a witness. And when this happens, then a person really, really enjoys the beauty of their spirit. But those who think that they are great and they have read this book and they have been to this guru or they have done this great job, they must know that it is not counted at all. It is how you are within yourself. Where are your vibrations? And what are the chakras you have opened out? How much large you have grown? That is how a person is known by his evolution. You are all seekers of ages. You are not a seeker of today. You have been seeking in previous lives and many lives before. And so you are here today to seek the truth. And the truth is to be faced as the truth is. You cannot force the truth to be like you want to be. Like some people say, but mother, I still like this. Then go ahead. I don't say no. I never say no to anything. I said go ahead. And they then learn a lesson. Like one day I'll tell you about Dr. Warren himself, a very interesting story. It happened only a few days back when we were in Singapore. I just try some tricks and make them learn. Like there's another nice lady, very nice lady, who is very evolved and all that. And she got after him that we must go now to Kuala Lumpur because she lives in Kuala Lumpur and she was worried about the meetings and this and that. And I had told them that I'm going out and I'll be coming back and we'll all go together. Because there's a shuttle service all the time, and I said we'll go by the evening plane. But she wanted to go 2 hours earlier, and she was after him that you better come along. Mother has a ticket and she'll come along. And there were other people with me. So these went just to organize everything 2 hours earlier by another plane. When they went there, they reached all right, 2 hours. But when I arrived at the hall, what I find that they were getting down from their car means they arrived even later than I had arrived. And I thought they'll be now very much embarrassed to see me getting down with them. So I asked the driver, I said, let us go ahead till they come out of the car. And I asked them what had happened. They said that we got down all right, but on the way there was a big jam. And we didn't know how to go, so we thought better take another road. So we came out from the pavement on the sides. And when we came out, there was we found that it was all filled with mud. So the car got stuck in the mud. And they had to pull it out and all sorts of things had to be done. And they reached little later than when I had arrived. Then she realized, she said, yes, that Warren was telling me all the time that you shouldn't do something that mother has said, we should go with her because she looks after everything, so why should we worry? So like that, you see, little incidents start occurring in your life and you start understanding that we are unnecessarily worried. Like sometimes, as our habits are, we want to go to the airport even before the aeroplane is fitted there. I mean, we are so futuristic. And there are people always with me who are of that time. And they get after my life saying, Mother, you should get ready now, we have to go, we have to go. And they become so quite wobbly. I said, all right, to put you at rest, I'll come. But there's nothing going to happen. We are just in time, don't you worry. So we reach the airport and there they say, suddenly the plane is delayed by 2 hours. So they can't understand the plane was not delayed and why the plane is delayed now. Now I said, now settle down. Fix your left navi, fix your wobbly nature and let us work it out at the airport. This is what it is. One has to slowly and steadily understand that the God who has created this great universe is the one looking after. He is the one who is looking after us. His angels are around us. They all look after all the realized souls who are on this earth. All the beautiful Utambara Pragya, that is the knowledge of the enlightened mind about the seasons of beauty, they start enjoying it. And when it happens to you, you just don't worry because you understand that everything is laid bare before. And it has happened with so many people. But there could be another person who may not accept and say, no, we must be very careful, we must do this and start worrying the same way they have been worrying. Actually, some people get upset even if you mention them that you have to go to the airport. I have seen that. And then they find that they are losing their passports, they are losing this, and they are getting so wobbly. In Sahaja Yoga, first of all, you must steady yourself. You must try to steady yourself. Put your left navi, as they say. Here is the left navi. This one is to be put at ease. Is very important. Because if it is not at ease, then also there is a possibility of you heading for some sort of a very serious disease like leukemia. As I told you the other day, that with the overactivity of this center, on the left-hand side, people might develop leukemia because your spleen becomes hectic, it becomes very nervous, and it becomes crazy actually because you are doing 10 things at the same time and you are yourself crazy. So this becomes crazy, it starts producing malignant cells and you develop a disease called leukemia. So first of all, you must put yourself to a peaceful life. Now how do you do it? First of all, believe that you are not going to miss anything in life. Even if you miss, supposing you think that you have to miss it. Like once at the airport we reached and the plane was late for 5 hours in Bombay. And in Bombay people know me very well. They came to know that I am at the airport. Right from pilots to the loaders, everybody came there to get realization. And about 500 of them came down and they got their realization. So my sitting there was important, my doing that work was important, so the plane was late and everybody enjoyed it. So to get upset about what you have thought that you are going to do next moment. And when you don't do it, then you feel, oh God, the whole joy is finished. Because people live with futuristic ideas. The whole future they built in beforehand. And they expect that future to happen. And when that future doesn't happen, they become miserable. Actually, in Sahaja Yoga, you are in the present. You are never in the future. Absolutely silent and absolutely peaceful with yourself, you are in the present. You are dealing with the present moment. So the present moment is the reality, while the future doesn't exist and the past is finished. So where you are in the present, where you are enjoying the dynamism of the present. And this is what I have found with Sahaja Yogis is that when first they get their realization, they either go to the future or to the past according to what they have been doing. Now the people who have been indulging into the left side also can be very much harmful to themselves, because they also start living with their past. Most of them I have seen, they'll come to me, mother, my father is not all right, my mother is not all right, my grandfather is not all right, my grandmother is not all right. The attention immediately goes to the whole lineage, to whole progeny. My son is like that, my grandson is like that. But if you get all right yourself, you are the center. You are the center of the whole core. And once you are all right, you can put everyone all right. But what happens that suddenly the attention shifts, you see. This is the habit, to shift the attention from yourself to others. Then the shifting starts about other Sahaja Yogis. That Sahaja Yogi is like that, and this Sahaja Yogi is like that. And that Sahaja Yogi did this, and that Sahaja Yogi did this. Like some people who are absolutely such that we cannot call them Sahaja Yogis, but they come, they go, they are still going on. And then people see them and they say, if this is the Sahaja Yogi, I don't want to be a Sahaja Yogi. It's like this, the shifting of the mind starts, and people try not to be there, but you must position yourself on your spirit. You must know that you have become the spirit. Position yourself is the point. And then once you have grown into it, then you do not relate yourself in this way, that my father, my mother is my finisher. Then you think, yes, my father is here, who is a person who should come to Sahaja Yoga. You go up to a point, tell him, all right, if you can come, well and good. If he doesn't come, you are not bothered. You develop your relationship with the Father, God Almighty, and with the Mother who is given you realization. This is very important. Then secondly, it starts like this. Like, of course, there have been great saints in our country. Like, we can say that we had Sainath. He was a realized soul, a great person. And his disciples would come to me and they'll say, all right, mother, you have given us realization, thank you very much. But Sainath, you see, we have Sainath's photograph. We worship Sainath. Now this is another start, is that now Christ is not here. So when Krishna came, they said, oh, we will talk about Dattatreya, not about Krishna. When Rama came, they said, we'll talk about somebody who came before. Never when they were there. When Abraham came or Moses came, so they said, let us talk about somebody who came before. When that happened, then when Christ came, they said, let us talk about Moses. And now I have come, I have given you realization, then you would like to learn everything from Christ who is no more there. He's not going to tell you. I have to tell you. That doesn't mean you are disrespectful to Christ. Christ is as much there as myself. But I have to tell you, not Christ. That is not his responsibility at this time, it's my responsibility. And so one must understand who has given you the realization. And that's why Christ has said that anything against me will be forgiven, but nothing against the Holy Ghost, because the Holy Ghost will give you the realization, and after taking the realization also, if you try to put yourself backwards, then you cannot go further. So one has to understand that who has given you the realization. The same thing happens about gurus, this, that. People are sucked back. But what have they given you is the point. You should know what have they given you. Have they given you something substantial? They have not. Then why are you sticking on to that which is not going to give you what you want? They are not going to answer your questions. They are not going to tell you anything about it. So why not ask a person who can speak, who can tell you, who can explain, who is in present? And this is another human weakness, that they don't want to live in the present. But some people will say, no, the Messiah is going to come after, say, 2000 years. Then you won't be there. Today I am here, so better have your realization, learn about it. When he comes afterwards, another one, then it's all right. But that time you are not going to be there. So the importance of present, Sahajogis must understand. At present, what is the situation? Where am I? What have I done? I have to understand each and everything at present. This is the important time. I am not going to lose any time thinking about the past or about the future. At this time, what's my problem is. And then the growth starts. All living things, whatever it is, works on present, never on the past. Say, as I told you yesterday, a root. When it starts sprouting, there's a little, small little cell at the end of the root. It just sees what is the situation at that time is. All right, at this time, it is a hard soil. It waits. As soon as the soil becomes a little better, it starts moving. Then it meets a boulder. All right, the boulder is there. Let's go round. At the present, you have to achieve it. You can only achieve at the present, never in the future and never in the past. So this is another thing the Sahajogis who are realized souls must understand, that they have to move with the present and not with the past. I had to go on fighting with people, telling them now be in the present. Now the knowledge of Kundalini was never told so clearly as it is said today. Now they will say, but people used to get realization after so much of cleansing and this. That was thousands of years back. Now we can go to the moon. How many people went to moon before? So do we say no, but they never used to go to the moon, so how can we? It's just like that. If something has worked out like this, that it's a jet Kundalini now, and you can go to your spirit, you can become your spirit, why not take the advantage of that? It is because the mind is not yet tuned. The mind has not understood the importance of time. And this time, this present time, is the most important time in the whole history of evolution, I can tell you, which you will realize very soon. It's the most important time. But people don't realize it. And for them, what does it matter? Oh, we can do this, there's nothing wrong, there's no danger. What's wrong in going into the subconscious? Why not get into the subconscious? Why not do this? What's wrong? When they suffer, they go down, they lose all their capacity to come back. Then they will come to me and say, Mother, yes, I did this and I did that. Best thing is that you must understand where you should not go. And you must understand where you can go, how far you can go, and how much you should do. All this art of understanding is called as true knowledge of the technique of the divine. The technique of the divine has never been explained or told before. Nobody has ever understood the technique of divine before, because there were not so many realized souls. It was a very exclusive thing which was told to one or two persons. But today you are fortunate to be born at this time, that this technique you can know, you can handle it and master it. But even now, escape will be there in your temperament, so be careful on that point. Now another thing I have discovered, that people think that if you destroy something, that is the past. This is another style. Then you will reach higher. This is another idea, like establishment. You destroy everything, destroy all the traditions, everything you destroy, and then you will become something better. It's wrong. If a flower becomes a fruit, part of it drops out, not the whole. Part of it becomes a fruit. In the same way, destruction completely is very indiscreet. And that's how people said we are against establishment. That is wrong. Whatever is good of the establishment has to be taken up. Like traditionally, marriage is respected all over the world, was respected. Today it is not. But I don't say about it. You will yourself find how marriage is blissful after realization. A simple logical conclusion we should arrive, say, at this thing. Now supposing you have children, and these children are great souls, because you are realized souls, so the great souls are born on this earth through you, because you are really the people who can look after them. Now these children, when they are born to you, they find that there is no sanction of the collective. You are still not husband and wife. The collective has not sanctioned it. It's a stigma. You give that stigma to the child for nothing at all. You have no business to give that stigma to the child. Today the society is such that it accepts. But the child will always have the stigma. I have seen, even with all your advancement, I have seen people, when they have to tell about their parents, they say, "Mother, I am sorry to say, but my parents are divorced." I mean, they feel little lower than the people who do not have divorced parents. They feel that the parents have let them down. They feel that there's some sort of a stigma, a kind of a dent in their character, that their parents have not been able to give them that respectability. So the respectability to the child can be only given by the parents who are realized souls, because they respect themselves and they know how to respect all that is beautiful and good. After realization, people marry. 99% people, if they marry with proper idea of vibrations, become absolutely beautifully married permanently. There's no question of quarrel, no question of divorce, no question of anything. The whole thing becomes such a beautiful thing. There is no problem at all from them to me. On the contrary, I find beautiful children appearing on the scene. And I really enjoy that beauty of such special type of children that come on this earth. And they also respect their parents. What's the use of fighting before the children? You don't give them the fighting spirit, do you? Have you to send them on the war? No wonder all these so-called developed countries are busy creating wars after wars. It's a headache to the rest of the country. You see, there is a war going on. There's always a fear that this country is going to invade that country is going to invade this country. It's a big nonsense going on. It starts from the family, where the husband and wife are morning till evening just fighting before the children, quarreling with them, ultimately ending up in a divorce case. It's a shameful thing to be divorced normally, but it happens. You accept it because society is accepted. Today the society is accepted, but the child will not be accepted by the society, whatever you may do. When the child will say that I have no parents, I don't know who my parents are, or my parents are divorced, naturally the child who is coming from a family which is not disturbed will definitely stand higher than that child. You yourself must have seen that in your family, when the parents were fighting, how you felt sad about it. Because you are the product of both of them. And parents have no business to give that kind of a personality of deficiency to the children. Here the people are so ego-oriented that they don't think of anyone. For them, I matters, I hate her and he hates him. It goes on like this. The hatred is such a accepted phenomena that the child suffers. Either he becomes an extremely exaggerated, volcanic, violent person. Like I heard this morning I went to the television and there was a little boy of 14 years has killed another boy of 10 years. I mean, we cannot think of this in a poor country like India, because we are fighting with our poverty only there. But here, when they have become rich, they start killing each other. This kind of violent nature you develop when you come from disturbed families. Now the establishment of a family is important, but the way it was established is not correct. Now after Sahaja Yoga, the establishment is perfect. Perfect harmony. Today only a couple has left for England who had come here. And this gentleman was not willing to marry the lady, and the lady was not willing to marry. But they were living together. And then somehow or other, the lady thought she can marry. And then the gentleman would not. So I said, you don't see him for few days. And the gentleman agreed. Now the gentleman thanks me every time for that mother, this is such a blessing. And when they came here, they said, we went on holidays so many times, we went to all kinds of beaches, where of course she burnt her skin and all this nonsense. You see, it's such all destroying stuff that you have. And she developed white patches here and white patches there. And actually she came for that. After doing all that so-called fun, they came to Sahaja Yoga, got married. And after marriage, what happened? That now a new type of a dimension of joy is pouring in them. They're such happy people. And now they want to have children, because first they didn't want to have children. Now they're old enough. So I said, you better take a child as just a sort of adoption from somewhere. So now the Sahaja Yogis love their children so much that we'll give them for adoption also. It's a big problem to get a child for them to adopt who is a realized soul. Now all these things have happened in everybody's life. The mother has been quarreling, or the father has been quarreling, there has been problem on and this and that. And with that, the outcome is a person who is also a seeker. So imagine standing on a crocodile's back. You see, you are seeking your spirit, and the crocodile is not going to leave you. So be careful that you have to jump into this boat of Sahaja Yoga, leaving all that nonsense. You have to start your life afresh. Change your ideas. Don't have all those frights, like people are frightened of women, women are frightened of men. This is something nonsensical. You have to shed out all these fears about each other and then tie up yourself into complete love and romance. Actually, now here also you have done in the West so much research on love and romance, but I don't find anybody romantic. What I find is all the time they are talking ill of each other, trying to remove everybody's images. Only thing they are worried about how to increase the size of their purses. That's all. There is nothing, no love. It's something so surprising. While where we are in India, we can find our societies, I mean, we have really the real romance. Whether we are old or young doesn't matter. For us it is decided once for all. Now this is your husband, this is your wife. And we enjoy. And all this experimentation leads you where? 10 people who are married are in the orphanage. The 10 women are in the orphanage, 10 men are in the orphanage, and the 10 children are also in the orphanage. All end up in an orphanage. In old age, they don't know what to do. And then they don't know whom to talk to, so they talk to their fridges or to their ovens, because they don't know whom to talk to. They are so lonely. This is the outcome of the so-called research work done on the romance and also of love. We are all part and parcel of one great being. We are not here to fight each other. That is malignancy. That is malignancy when one cell becomes more powerful and tries to overpower another person, then it is malignant. The enjoyment comes when you understand the coordination between the two, like two wheels of a chariot. One is left, one is right. They are stationed in their own places. Support the chariot and enjoy the ride. This is what one has to understand. But gradually, after realization, you'll understand how blissful it is to be sensibly married, to have children who are great saints. And some of the children that are born these days are really so saintly and so beautiful that after a child is born to a realized soul, then I don't bother about their marriages. It comes around all right, because they know how to put them right. It's so sweet and so beautiful. So that's how we have to gradually start seeing it. Because our ideas are that establishment is all bad, family is bad, leave your parents, get out of them, they are the worst people ever born. You suddenly start feeling the goodness of your parents also. Start seeing them better. They see you better. They see you happier. They see you so different. They are asking, how is it you have changed, my child? What has happened? They come to Sahaja Yoga. The whole family comes to Sahaja Yoga. All these things go on happening in life in a human being, but he doesn't want to change. Something is definitely wrong, and it's a very simple thing. We have forgotten how to love. Pure love is not there. If it is so, everything works out so beautifully. You really enjoy the company of all the Sahajogis. Now, if I tell them, now you go on a holiday, said, Mother, this is our holiday. They are enjoying it. They are in the state of great enjoyment. You ask anyone there, they don't want to do anything else, they don't want to go anywhere else. I mean, even if I say, you go now, it's all right, finished now, you go away. They feel so sad that they are leaving other Sahajogis. You feel so close and so near to others. Those people now, Dr. Warren is a very well-known doctor from Australia, and there are other people like him who come to India. In India, people are very humble. They live in the villages. They live in the small little huts. They meet each other equally with such joy. They never have that feeling of class consciousness. All this is lost. All the joy of just meeting another soul who is a realized soul, feeling the spirit of that person, the fragrance of that person makes you happy. So now you must know you are on a journey of the new world. It's a new dimension. So give up all that was nonsensical, and gradually we'll know that this is nonsensical. Because if you ask the questions after realization, you can feel the vibrations. That's why there's a difference between one and another. I find that one has no vibrations and another has vibrations. And he will go on saying that this should not be done, but another will say, no, this should be done. But the one who has the vibrations must be always listened to. And that's how the things work out better and better and better. And this quarreling ends up and you become very loving people to each other. This has to happen. Unless and until this happens, if husband and wife, two persons can't live together happily, how do you expect the whole world to live together happily? By forming these United Nations, by forming all these artificial things, do you think they'll live together? They cannot. Basically what has happened is they think they are individuals. They are not. They are part and parcel of the whole. Like one cell in the body is connected with another cell. In the same way, you are all connected with each other. And that you can find out after realization. Once you find out, you feel so secured and so happy. You have brothers and sisters all over the world. Wherever you get, they will know that you are here. There was a girl who went to Sicily once. She is a Swiss girl, Ruth, and she just went there and she was sitting alone. She thought, oh, what a place Sicily is. There's not even a single Sahajogi here. And I'm just sitting alone. These people are all playing monkey tricks. And she was just a little bit feeling lonely. And suddenly she felt vibrations. So she turned around. There was another girl sitting. She said, are you mother's child? She said, yes. Are you? And then they grasped each other. And they were so happy, and the tears started flowing in their eyes, and people couldn't understand what had happened to these two unknown persons suddenly get into such jubilation. Her name was Gilman, and she was a French girl. And they said it was such a pleasure to meet her there. Just by vibration, she felt the oneness, and they enjoyed. Then they said the life was so great there in Sicily, and they established a center in Sicily after that, both of them put together. Can you imagine? So all these things happen, and then you understand that you are living with another language, with another life, which is so beautiful and bubbling with joy every moment. And you start seeing the joy everywhere, and you just enjoying yourself, and also you enjoy the mistakes you have committed. You laugh at you and you said, oh God, I was like that. That was me. That's finished. Now gone. So it was like this. And you just make fun of yourself. And you really really see that, oh, that was me. That was Mr. Ego of mine. Oh, how do you do? Bye-bye. It's a very interesting growth. When I see them like that, when I see them enjoying each other. That's the greatest joy for me. There's nothing else I want. I want that you should feel that joy and that love among yourselves. There should be no quarreling. There should be no fighting. There should be oneness of understanding and move under one person. There's nothing to fight. Like I cannot contact every one of you, so there's one person appointed. Like here, we have Steve and Christine, both of them working out in Boston. You'll find them extremely good people. They're extremely nice people. They have done a very good job. But maybe some person might be a quarrelsome person, fighting person may fight them. Doesn't matter. But you stick on to them. Till I find they are hopeless, they'll be there, and when I find that, they'll go away. So you should not worry. Challenging their personality, challenging their leadership. Try. It will help you a lot, because all of us have to be together in complete love with each other. Nobody wants to dominate anyone, because we have to gain nothing. We have to gain nothing. It's a system where you give. This is the only system where you give. but we have never experienced before the power of love, the power of this purity, this innocence. We have only used hatred. That has been our power. So give up that and use this power. It is so simple. It works beautifully. Only you have to learn how to use it. And it works sometimes with great strength, sometimes delicately, sometimes mischievously, sometimes giving you lessons. It's very sweet. So you have to learn all these little things, and you'll enjoy how this mind is a monkey, how it works, and how you watch the monkey there. And it's beautiful to see yourself like that, the drama of yourself. May God bless you all. I'm very happy to be here in Boston, and you know I'm going away. And we have a little program tomorrow for which we have to sort out people. I don't know how they are going to do it. And I don't know, whatever they want to do, they can do it. But we'll have again the session of realization first. And after that, we can see how it works out. For tomorrow's program is rather something which we don't expose people to normally, because people are not yet ready. I should say, to accept the truth is very difficult. So we don't expose people to that. But considering that I am here today and tomorrow, and I may not come next year, I don't know, they think that we should allow people to come down and get the experience deeper, and we should expose them to Sahaja Yoga. But sometimes we lose some people with that. It's rather risky, I know that, but I don't know, they will themselves sort it out. I don't know what to say, because this is a higher blasting, as you can call it, where you get your realization much deeper, and you understand yourself much deeper, and also you get nicely rooted into your spirit. But that we don't allow people to go through till they have established themselves properly. And that's the thing we are thinking about. We are in two minds what to do. Now it is for you to decide to come to a ceremony like that tomorrow we are having, because these days, 9 days, are very important days where the goddess is worshipped. And tomorrow is a very important day again. So we have to have the ceremony, and the Indians know what it is, Navratri. Tomorrow is the very important day. And that day all over the world that is going on. All the Sahaja Yogis are doing, so we have to do it. And those who would like to come are welcome to come for that. And also you are invited for a lunch there. Now today let's again have the experience of realization. Those who have come for the first time, please raise your hands. It's quite a lot of them.
Why don't we let them come to the front and let some of the people who've had it sit behind, and then afterwards they can work on them.
All right. What we can do, you see, just to adjust this, because those who have come here for the first time are to be given realization. That's important. Others mostly have got it. Those who have felt the cool breeze before yesterday and day before, please raise your hands. Let's see.
That's enough.
All right. Now what I would suggest, that those who have felt like that should go at the back, and those who have not felt should come forward, because those who have felt will know how to work it out themselves. So we can have them at the back side and we'll tell them how to do it. So you must know that you do not know anything about it. This is not a dark room in which you have to enter. It's a thing that has to be logical. You must have all the knowledge about it. You must know what it is the Kundalini, what are the chakras, how to put it right, how to give realization to others, and how to maneuver it. And anybody Guru has given you initiation, if he has not given you realization, then better forget them. That's very important. That there are so many in the market, one better than the other. So I have to just tell you that those who have not given you realization, if they are still in your head, better get rid of them for the time being till you get your realization. Because if you go on like this, there's no end to it. You see, people here have gurus just like as they have locks. You see, they go in the market, this lock is not good, so that lock. See, it is the one who gives you realization is your guru. Otherwise, who has not given you a realization is not a guru. So forget them. There are many in the market. The lady asked me, I would say forget all of them. She hasn't got realization. Finished. You be selfish. In the sense you must know what you have got yourself. That's the important point. If you haven't got anything, then it's useless. I mean, you go to a shop, pay the money and walk out without anything, or at the most with a disease. Is it what you are seeking? Just is logical. So if you have been to someone like that, just forget it. I'll try to neutralize it. I'll try again, I say, because there's no guarantee. But I'm sure it will work out. Don't have any doubts about yourself, that's all. You can have doubts about all of them, but not about yourself.
Just slip your shoes off, because that helps you to be earth.
Just slip off your shoes, please.
And loosen any belts that are there, collar and tie, just loosen.
Not to have very, very tight clothes in here or here. These are chakras, you see. So make yourself little loose there. Now, you have to put your both the hands just like this on your lap, very comfortable. You have to sit comfortably. First of all, be comfortable. There should be no crowding up. There should be no problem as far as the bodily comfort is concerned, because your attention will be diverted. As I said, at this moment you are with me. Forget the past. Whatever you have done or whatever has been there, forget it, forget it, forget it. You are not to feel guilty at all. At this moment you are in the present. So please don't worry what you have done wrong, what is gone wrong, nothing of the kind. You are seekers. You have come to seek the truth, to be the spirit, and it doesn't matter what you have done. Everything is forgotten, forgiven. So you also forget and always say that I am not guilty at all. Don't live in the past. Whatever has happened has happened. Now, both the feet should be on the Mother Earth, because she helps us to suck our problems. So just, and the left hand is the hand of your desire. Now it should act spontaneously. It does act, but as you know, there are problems on the chakras. I have to work it out myself, and you have to help me that way, that you work it out yourself. So I will tell you how to put your right hand on different centers to nourish that center, which is a little bit weak. And you have to close your eyes. Please don't open your eyes. Even if you have spectacles, you can take it out, it will be better, because it also helps the eyesight. You are not to open the eyes till I tell you, and it's quite some time that you will not open your eyes. So keep your eyes shut. Don't open your eyes. Keep your neck straight, not too much bending forward or backward. Just keep your neck straight. If possible, don't have any hats on your head, will be good, because the Sahasrara has to be opened up. If you can take out your hats, will be a good idea. So this portion is left open, this has to open out. All right. Now keep your eyes shut. Put your right hand on the heart. On your heart on the left hand side. Only your right hand has to be moved. Left hand has to be straight with your fingers stretched. Here you have to say or ask a question to me, calling me mother if it is easier. Mother, am I the spirit? Ask the question. Mother, am I the spirit?
They should take the malas off. They're several with mala. Just ask them to take off mala.
If you are wearing any malas or anything from any guru, please take them out also, because they stop the Kundalini's awakening. So please take it out. It's better to be kind to ourselves and fair to ourselves, because we are here to achieve the spirit and not to be belonging to anyone like that. We have to be ourselves to begin with, and then only we belong to the kingdom of God. Now just say, Mother, am I the spirit? Ask thrice.
Mother, am I the spirit?
Now put this right hand down on the stomach, on the left hand side, and press it. This is the center of the primordial master, and as the spirit is your master, you are your own master. So you have to say, Mother, I am my own master. You have to say that 10 times.
It's coming. Should be.
After saying that, you put this hand little lower, at the lower side of your stomach, on the left hand side. We are working the left hand side only. Now, at this point, you have to say, Mother, teach me the divine technique, or make me the divine technique. Mother, make me the divine technique. 6 times. Good. Now you again put your hand on your heart. Now with full assertion, without any guilt, you have to say 12 times, Mother, I am the spirit, because you are the spirit, you are the spirit, you are the spirit. So you have to say, Mother, I am the spirit. You should do it. Candle.
It's very good.
Now you put your right hand, raise it on the base of your neck, on the shoulder, and pull it out a little bit. At this point, you have to say 16 times, Mother, I am not guilty.
It's gone. It's gone. Strong.
Now raise this right hand on your forehead, across. At this point you have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone. Say it twice, but with full confidence. Now put the right hand again back onto the back of the head where the optic lobe is, and push your head backwards and hold it tight. And say now here, without feeling guilty, again 100 times I say without feeling guilty, you have to say, if I have done any mistakes, "Oh Lord, please forgive me." Say it thrice, without feeling guilty. Now, put this hand on top of your head and press it with your palm in the center of your head and try to move it clockwise. But at this point, I cannot take your freedom into my hands. You have to have your freedom, whether you want your realization or not. So you have to say, "Mother, give me my realization." I cannot force upon you. So you have to ask for it. So just say, "Mother, please give me my realization." Say it 7 times and move the head in a clockwise manner while saying that.
Mother, please give me my realization. 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 Mother, please give me my realization.
Now put the right hand, without opening your eyes, on your lap. Now put your left hand up on your head, little about 5 inches, and see if there's a cool breeze coming in. Little higher, because at the little higher, about 5 inches. Not too high or too low, but see yourself. You can move your hand and see if there's a cool breeze coming in. And in your hand also if there's a cool breeze coming in. Now change your hands and see for yourself. Put the left hand on the lap towards me and see with your right hand. Go on changing your hand and see. Now put both the hands towards me. And now open your eyes. Put them on your lap. Open your eyes slowly, very slowly. Now watch me without thinking. Now I will teach you how to raise your Kundalini. You may put on your spectacles if you want to. Put the left hand in front of you like this. Just like this, left hand in front of the Kundalini, like this, while sitting down. And now try to move your hand from the Kundalini upward, forward, backward in a clockwise manner. Let's start. Now put it on top of your head and loosen your shoulders and twist it round and give it a knot, a big knot. This we have to do 3 times. Let's do it again. All of you should do, then later on you will say I didn't get it. Loosen your arms. Put it up. Put back your head and give it a knot. Do it again, once more. Now this time you have to give 3 knots. One, 2, 3. Now see in your hands, are you feeling the cool breeze? See on your head also. Why didn't you do? Huh?
She has an elbow injury.
Oh, I see. Really? All right. It's all right. You put your hands, you'll be all right. Put your legs all right. See, is there cool breeze coming from your head? Put all your hands up like that. And now ask a question. Is this the breeze of the Holy Ghost, Mother?
Is this the breeze of the Holy Ghost?
3 times.
Is this the breeze of the Holy Ghost, Mother? Is this the breeze of the Holy Ghost, Mother?
You start feeling it in the hands.
Tremendous.
Now, see for yourself. All right? There's no thought in the mind. There's no thought. Enjoy your meditation. Just close your eyes, don't think. Now, those who got realization yesterday should get up and see over the heads of other people, and Dr. Warren will tell you how to do it. There's Steve here, they'll all see you how to do it. Come along, I'll put your elbow right. Come here, this girl. Just see, don't open your eyes, keep them shut. They will see if there's a vibrations coming from you or not. All those who got their realization before should join them. Oh, see what happened to your elbow?